my name is Wesley, and welcome to my channel. I'd like to start off by saying this is my very first movie on my very first channel, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So having said that, please feel free to click down below and subscribe. I'd be more than happy. I don't always know what this channel's gonna be, but I do know it's gonna take forever to edit. Now, let's make a tote bag. Now, the first step to any good sewing project is to change your outfit. As you can see, I have chosen to wear an apron that may or may have not been taken from a company I used to work at. Borrowed, it was borrowed. I've also decided to hide said company logo with a logo from another company. Here is a list of things you will need. Fabric, 2 kinds, scissors, thread, sewing machine, something to mark it with, straight edge, measuring tape, ironing supplies, and of course, candy. So the tote bag we're going to be making today is based on a design of a tote bag I already own. This one. The way I usually like to start this is by taking my fabric and just laying it out all big and nice for everyone to see. How beautiful is that? Next, this is really important. I'm going to do some measuring. I do have some numbers up on here that'll tell me all the measurements I need, but I don't trust that. So instead, what we're going to do is flip this over and then use our trusty yellow measuring tape. If your measuring tape isn't yellow, it's probably wrong. So the very first step of this tote bag is to figure out all the pieces you're gonna need. 2 sides, 2 handles. Now the one I'm making is gonna be double-sided, so that means I'm gonna need 4 sides and 4 handles. No, still 2 handles, just two. So 2 handles. Now, the size of your tote bag can be different if you like. I've decided that my tote bag needs to be probably about 18 inches by 18 inches. And so we begin. Luckily, 18 lines right on this fold. Isn't that nice? So here is where you're gonna need your Sharpie, because chalk, I always lose chalk, I'm always breaking it, it always makes my hands feel gross. So using my straight edge, I'm just gonna follow this line along and put a big dirty mark right down here. Woo! Look how cool already, just a big line. Next, you're gonna wanna find your scissors. I know your fabric's beautiful, you don't wanna ruin it, it's great, everyone loves it, you're gonna run out. So, just cut out yourself an 18 by 18 square. It doesn't have to be pretty, it doesn't have to be cute. Keep it as straight as possible. Great, isn't that nice? Oh, look, gorgeous. Great. So next thing you're going to want to do is measure out the rest of your 18 by 18 square. I like to use the selvage. I think this is really cool. If you didn't know, this is called a selvage. This little strip here that tells you all the things. Now that I've measured 18 one way, I'm going to want to measure 18 the other way. And the nice thing about this fabric is it already has lines on it, and I might not have to draw some because of that. So, luckily, my 18 lines up just to about here. Again, I'm like at 18 and a quarter, and that's okay because I'm 18 and a quarter the other way too, and we'll never know the difference. Now let's cut. I also never like to waste anything, so save this little piece. Look, it could be a cute headband, a tie, a bracelet, or it could just be thrown over there. So now that I have one set of my 18-inch squares, you see I have a front and a back, front, back. So now we're gonna cut out some handles, because if we don't, how are you gonna hold it? I want it to be 19 inches by 3 inches wide. And luckily, again, that lands on a line that I can just follow all the way down. So now I have 1 handle and 2 handles. When it comes time to sew, is just fold them in half. So right down this edge and turn the whole thing inside out. The next step is to cut out the exact same pieces in the corresponding fabric. So now that I have all my pieces cut, I'm just very simply going to iron them. Whoa. So now that everything's ironed and ready to go, the next step is to actually sew the thing together. As we transition into my sewing room, it's important to remember that I'm an expert sewer and don't usually need to pin things together. You, on the other hand, might need to pin things together.
And now you will see as I sew one side, the bottom side, and the other side, completing a square U shape. This will give the tote bag that classic shape we all know and love.
Now that I have the front and back sewn together, I'm going to sew the sides. Now, the first step of that is to mark them. And when I say sew the sides, I don't really mean sew the sides. It's literally 2 stitches, like 2 lines. So, the first step of that, stick your hand inside the bag and go to the corner. See how I'm in the corner here? Now, how it's making this triangle shape, I'm just folding that down and matching up my seam here and my seam here. Easy, so far easy, we're all on board. So you're gonna lay that down flat. Great, give it a lot of steam. Just steam the crap out of that. My iron's not ready. Come on. There we go. So just gonna give it a bunch of steam. Nice. So I also have decided that I want my bag to be about 5 inches wide. So I'm gonna take this 5 inches and come up here until I find where that point meets. 5 inches right across. Now I'm gonna take my Sharpie. First I'm gonna make sure I'm a perfect square. Nice, I'm always a perfect square. Everyone loves it. Good. Put my Omni Grid in, snip my tape measure out, and draw my line. Ooh, that's nice. If you're paranoid and you think things are gonna move, which I think things are gonna move, I'm gonna go get my pins. Great. So now we're just gonna do that to the other side. Gorgeous. Put your hand in, find your triangle. Nice, looks good. Line up my seams. Oh, those look nice. Very good. Beautiful seams. Make a nice triangle. Give it a steam. So nice. Probably like 6 easier ways to do this. I don't care.
In my sewing room, it's important to mention that this is my first video, and because of that I have lost some footage. What you are seeing now is a reenactment. In this scene, I sew and trim the bottom corners. This creates the sides of the bag. I also sew both bags together along the bottom seam. This is what will make my tote bag reversible. You will also notice that at this point I have made my handles. I did this by sewing together the pieces I cut earlier on 3 sides and turning them inside out. I have several hints and tips on how you can achieve this yourself. But since that footage is lost, I wish you good luck and I am fully confident that you will be able to figure it out. Now that both bags are sewn together, I can turn the outside bag out. As you can see, my corners match up perfectly. I then pin everything in place so that I may begin the arduous task of rolling the inside fabric out to create a trim. Even though I'm an advanced sewer, I am pinning them down so I don't end up sewing my fingers together in the end. Once all the trim is pinned down, I begin the arduous task of sewing it in place. Once my trim is complete, I will finish up by attaching my handles.
Alright, so now that I finished sewing, our next step is just to iron everything down. And all this is going to do is just give the bag a little bit of structure and make it look super cool. And there you have it! a beautiful tote bag. And did I mention it's reversible? It's reversible. So now that we've made a tote bag, the important thing to remember is you can put anything in them, even other tote bags. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and remember to subscribe down below. And come back next week when I'll be doing something else. Could be anything, who knows? Thank you, and have a pleasant tomorrow.